So I was like, oh yeah, this is good. And then I saw a topic and I was like, oh, that's something I could be passionate about. So we all picked a group that we thought really deserved some representation.
I actually did it because I know that it looks really good on college transcripts. And I'm going to college in 2 years, so I need that.
Our physics teacher had us, like the entire class, do it as kind of like a, I guess, project assignment kind of thing for the class.
I competed in the last competition and I had a super great time with that. It was really fun and I believe my team got 5th place. So I definitely wanted to try just competing in DYG again. And I brought on some really good team members. I just wanted to really tackle this challenge that I felt was really good.
We're basically the founders of a nonprofit, Modern Divergence, that advocates for neurodiversity equity. So this was kind of a new way for us to sort of tackle and sort of design a solution towards neurodivergent inequity. And yeah, I mean, we basically just found this a really good way to sort of deepen our passions, and it kind of just went hand in hand with what we really care about. So that was a bonus.
I heard that Faith and her previous teammate from last time, Vivian, they said they had like a great time. And so I was like, okay, lit, next time for this DUIG competition, just hit me up and everything. And yeah, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Like, we've been doing this since the very first one, and so the very first one we won money, and so we kind of got a taste of it. And so I think for us it was like we're addicted to the challenge. like every time it comes out we're like so excited. We literally have this countdown thing going on where we're texting each other a week before the challenge and we're like, oh, it's only like 4 days and we start. Like it's seriously, it's almost an addiction.
And we started the doing the DYG challenge as part of our physics class, because our teacher wanted us to have more to kind of like deal with what kind of an internship or something kind of like a real world experience would be.
All of us are interested in helping the community, and we were more interested in a real world problem that we all would come more in contact with.
Well, it was actually for a grade in a class. Like, they had us join the challenge just to see if we liked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they gave us, it was pretty much our number one thing to work on in our marketing class for a week, and it was a pretty fun unit, I'd say. It was all around pretty fun to do.
Our teacher had the idea. She said, hey, we're all just going to do this, answer some questions, see what happens, because we've been kind of working on the critical thinking part, because we're in the business principles class and we're starting to run our own little business inside of Westside. So she thought it'd be good to have some critical thinking questions and just do this challenge and, see what happens. And we just decided, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it. So we just decided to do our best.
We chose to talk about Indigenous people and the problems in their community and how they could get solved. And our main solution was to have more community centers so that they could build relationships within their own community, and it also provide outlets for important things that they need, like therapists and psychological and substance abuse help, stuff with all of that. And community centers offer a lot of all of the solutions we needed. So that was our main idea.
The reason why I started to remember Indigenous people was because the state of South Dakota changed Columbus Day to, which is the federal holiday, they changed it to Indigenous People Day. And I started thinking about that.
I think we wanted to think of a group that people don't really talk about as much. So we thought this was a group that needed more recognition about the issues that they're facing.
So ours was kind of it was some doors that when they opened it was doors that were on the top of a combine. When they opened, it had a net and 2 smaller doors that would kind of basically make the storage bigger, and when it was closed it would just make it waterproof on like the inside. But yeah.
Rosalie did most of like the calculating, like the cost and like the force and everything that needed to be done. Like, and weight distribution. And then I recorded most of the things and turned in like answers and made sure everyone was organized. Those two came up with the winning idea of the whole 4 panels with the tarp in between.
And we're working on modern divergence, and we've tackled a lot of different issues. But one that we haven't really been able to tackle is neurodiversity in the workforce. And obviously there's a lot of disadvantages they face, either through like looking for a job in general, interview, application process, etc. So something that we want to do, which is our solution, was to create a website, kind of like a LinkedIn for neurodiverse individuals. Is basically connects them with people who are looking for jobs, and basically like the neurodivergent individual has their skills, their experiences, but also what accommodation they're looking for and what condition that they have. And the employer themselves can also have an account for their workplace, and also say what they're looking for, what accommodations they have in their place, and what they're willing to include. And we also have opportunities for the neurodivergent individuals to kind of review how they treat neurodivergent people in their place, and kind of like talk about the stigma they might face or discrimination they can face, and kind of just like give the neurodivergent individual like control over where they're going to work, control over how they can find a job. So that was like the main goal, and that's what our solution was.
Neurodivergence is sort of this thing that can be overlooked. Like a lot of people don't even know much about this community, and I feel like that makes it really difficult if you are a neurodivergent individual to really just become a part of society in that way, because employers do like have some sort of stigma. Like even if they say they don't, they'll always be like, oh, we have to make this sort of accommodation, or oh, we have to make that. And it's very hard for like neurodivergent people to also like find out what they're signing up for, if that makes sense. So we kind of wanted to design the solution to sort of bridge that gap so that neurodivergent people would have the same opportunities that everyone else does.
Yeah, also in our solution is like a two-way thing. Not only it's like benefiting neurodivergent people, but also businesses like need to know that neurodivergents, they are like a big part of like a company. They can bring a lot of creativity, a lot of spark, a lot of diversity, which is all beneficial to a company and a business. And people just don't know that.
We initially wanted to start out with an app that we wanted to make. Just something that everyone can use for any kind of field, or any like just kind of whatever they need it for, right? But as we were going on, we realized that there were some companies that have gotten close to this already. So we just figured that we'd hitch on to one of the ones that have already gotten a good standing for being a great app just to use and chat with friends and stuff like that, or just again whatever you need. So we hitched onto Discord, given that it's one of the most popular right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we were inspired by for our idea was the pandemic, like everything that's going on. I think that really inspired a lot of our ideas, like kind of the things that we noticed that we needed as we were trying to do the online learning at the end of the year last year. Like we had a lot of struggles with like a lot of things because our school like really was not prepared for it at all. So we were kind of thinking like, what would have helped then? Like what can help now? And like, especially me too, because for my job, like we closed, and I was thinking what would have been useful there so that we could have communicated things and, you know, made it a safer environment. So I think that's kind of what inspired a lot of our ideas for our app.
So we came up with our idea by just thinking about what we feel is wrong with jobs today. And to get a job, you of course have to do a job interview. And job interviews are mostly based off of education qualifications and past internships. And we think that there's more than just that should go into account. It should also be based on problem solving and how people would deal with in the specific job rather than what they've done previously.
We thought they were kind of at a disadvantage, and it was harder for them to A, get a job, or B, get into like the right job and have people like kind of understand their difference and help them.
And I definitely believe that in a job type situation in the real world, having like different like mental like mindsets and having different like ways of thinking of things, and it just introduces like more problem solving and stuff. So I think overall it kind of helps everyone by like matching people with jobs that they fit in, and like introducing new solutions and stuff that other people might not have thought of.
I spent a lot of time figuring out the like mechanism to open up the doors, and she did a lot of numbers and figuring out the doors themselves.
I did the like materials and all that.
Yeah.
And figuring out what kind of material to use for the doors and how much it needed to weigh and cost and how thick it needed to be and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought of the idea, I think it was just random. I thought of an app that we could think or to make better, and I thought of Google Calendar to make it better and have it like have notifications pop up for like when stuff is due and like what you have to do that day.
It was more of a mashup of everything we kind of needed in this weird COVID time. I mean, we had the idea that Google Classroom would alert you, like it would show up on the desktop of your computer that, hey, this assignment is due, because it's hard, especially for Tessa, to keep track of all the assignments when she's at home, she's not in class. And we just wanted something that would alert us what's due, what we need to do it, and like how to get it done. And then we also had an idea to keep us connected with friends through Google Calendar, and it would let us know, and we could customize the settings of who our closest friends are and make sure like our mental health is still like stable at this time, so we're just staying connected with people.
I think like the main thing we tried to focus on is just like communication and like building community type stuff.
I just say I had an idea, I just put it into work and then see what would happen.
We had schoolwork for the first time doing a challenge, so it was harder like balancing it and being able to like all go on a Zoom meeting and work on the challenge at the same time.
One of our members did not have access to like communicating to us at all times, so it was a little difficult at some points, but like they pulled through. They did really good. We all got it done. So
what was hard for me was some of the questions, because I felt like some of the questions were asking us like, how does the government help Indigenous people, or like who you chose now, and the fact that Indigenous people were like just so underrated that the government didn't really help them at all. I think that was the most struggling for me to find topics on and things to talk about and how the government helps them, because it was 0 to none, because I mean not 0 to none, but like 5 to none facts that I had, because there was not a lot.
The time limit.
Oh yeah.
Time limit was a really big problem that we had.
Yeah.
And we kind of didn't do everything. We could have done it a little bit more complete if there was more time, but because of the time restraints, also we have a huge issue with time management.
Yep.
Like, we didn't really come up with the idea until we got to the farm, which was like on Saturday, and we procrastinated everything until then.
We had a rough idea.
We had like a rough idea, and then we kind of just put it together.
Really rough idea.
Yeah.
And then we kind of came up with like the rest of the actual like idea and putting it down to paper as we were trying to shoot the video on the farm. And then we had to do everything kind of backwards off the video, because the only time we could do it was on the farm. So we did everything backwards. It was very inconvenient. And we had very poor planning, but somehow it worked out.
I think it's sort of the timing, because while we were doing this challenge, I think I had a chem test, like 50 pages of English homework due. It was, I feel like everyone here was like, even though we have time differences, I wouldn't say that was too much of an issue for us, just because I feel like me and Faith have worked like a lot in the past, so we kind of know each other's schedules, and I feel like she was really able to like work with me on that. But I think what my biggest hardship throughout the challenge was really just balancing my schoolwork and my other commitments with this.
Definitely like the work, because I had, school, me and Mohammed were applying to colleges as well. So to kind of like managing that with all the work that we're also doing was definitely the hardest thing. You can definitely see that in our challenge as well, and in our solution. For example, I definitely wanted to take the website to another level and add more, implement more, and just finish it as a whole, but I definitely did not have time, and we were all super busy, and we didn't have time to kind of like take it to a further level. But that's also part of the challenge, and we're glad that we did as much as we could.
Maybe the hardest part was for us was kind of, because we're seniors, we have a lot going on right now, and so we were constantly trying to find time. I think a couple of times we were up at like, I got off work and then I was home working on it at like 10 o'clock at night. But we kind of made it work. And then the video, I literally went to his house. We had ACT the day before the challenge was due, so we had sort of a half day, I guess. And I went straight to his house pretty much after, and we worked on that video until like, what was it, like 5? Yeah, 5, and I got there like 2, so it's like, it was crazy, like trying to juggle everything at once. But like the way that we were able to manage it, I feel like that made our idea even better. You know what I mean? Like we were kind of forced to adapt, and that created like more ideas, like spontaneous ideas that kind of helped like drive us forward, I guess.
It was really open-ended, which is good because it's realistic, but also it's kind of hard to get started sometimes. And also it was hard because of the time constraint, because it was only a week and we had some days off during that time. So it was kind of hard to be working on that while all of that was happening, but we made it work.
There wasn't a whole lot of like guidance in terms of like, in terms of like, okay, this is what you should do. It's just kind of like, okay, you're gonna go to this website and then you're gonna answer these questions. So it was fun, but then it was also just kind of a little bit hard to answer all those questions within 40 minutes, and then you didn't really think about it for the rest of the day.
Was the budget? It was kind of hard to keep. We were really close to the budget, and
like $6 under.
Yeah, so that was the big thing that got me, is I had to keep rethinking like my idea to keep it under the budget, because I kind of was getting a little over creative there for a second, so I had to dial it back to keep it under the budget, but we were able to do it.
For me, it was doing it online, because as I've said before, it was but keeping in touch, like asking questions to them, it was very easy to do. But just like overall, doing it apart from them, not working together, it was a challenge for sure.
It was hard to come up with an idea at first, because like you're thinking of technology, but I'm not used to coming up with like a solution for like a technology question, because this is the first challenge I've ever done, and I didn't really know what they expected us to come up with, like what we would need to like come up with a successful solution, and it was a real learning process along the way.
Well, waiting for feedback and then answering back to some of the feedback, because it was kind of hard to answer back.
Well, mainly just coming up with the idea of what we wanted to do kind of was challenging at first, but once we got started, I felt like it was way easier to just kind of get things rolling and work in the group or whatever.
It was kind of chaotic because we had school and stuff going on, but I think it was like funny to be in all of this chaos and then be like, guys, we still have to do our dig challenge, and we'd kind of just laugh and make jokes out of it. And then when we got down to it, we'd be like really serious about it, and it was cool to see that we could have a lot of fun but also get like really good work and really good answers done.
It was also fun to just like work in a group again, because at school we're not really allowed to, since you have to be distanced from people. So it was nice to get to do like a group project on something.
I think basically what Lexi said, I think like there was fun in the chaos. I thought like, you know, rushing to get some things done. I was like, hey, that's great.
I think my favorite part was probably going to the farm and just like having the road trip down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun.
The boys are going to talk about their whole thing, but
Yeah.
basically for us two, I'll be simple so you can elaborate. We just wanted to plan a road trip. Like our friend group, we were going to plan a road trip anyways, and this was like the perfect excuse to go out to Jerry's relative's house with like their farm and stuff. And it took us an hour to drive there, and we like long car rides and listening to music and stuff. So that's why me and Rosalie agreed to do it.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty much the same reason, like the same for me, I guess.
I'd say you and I were also pretty excited about the engineering aspect of that, because him and I are on the robotics team, and we've done it for quite a while, and we just really like that.
She's the new member.
We really like the idea of being able to do something like this and be able to engineer something of our own for a project.
Yeah.
I liked how we were able to research it, but like also have fun with it. Like I liked the point system. I thought that was like so cool because you aren't just like blindly doing your work and then like, oh my god, like am I gonna get like last place or am I gonna get like first place? I feel like you kind of knew where you were standing and you could really work off of that. And I feel like that was sort of like when you play like a video game, you always see your ranking on the leaderboards, and I thought that was really cool. Like the more work you do, the higher you move up, and yeah, I feel like that helped us really like make sure that we're on top of it.
I also thought it was very cool that we can actually, communicate with our advisors, which were like real people in like the workforce and everything. And we all actually contacted a person from Goodwill. I can't remember her name, but she sent us a very inspiring like PowerPoint to kind of guide us on our our whole thing, and it was really cool.
For me, I was just getting to learn more about what it is and what it's like to be a neurodivergent individual in the workforce. And it just like while we're all creating like the website, just like researching what can we do to help them feel more comfortable.
I very much enjoyed coming up with I love trying to solve problems. So like coming up with the ideas for like the challenge was probably my favorite part. Just having some kind of plan and idea that we have for this challenge is probably my favorite part.
Doing these challenges kind of inspired me for my career choice, which is engineering, because I love solving problems, especially complex problems. But I think the funniest part was when we were together making the video and we were trying to think of ideas for the video, and I had this like really good idea that we should screen record some different things on our phones for like what we would want in the app. So we used Discord, obviously, and like we were on like Slack. I even showed Slack. I showed Zoom, and we were kind of showing like what kind of features we would want in that weren't currently in Discord already, and then the ones that were already in Discord, to kind of help visualize like what we were thinking, because we found out like it was kind of hard for them to visualize it when we were writing it out, which makes a lot of sense because it's an app. Like you can't really see it without actually seeing it. So in the video, I was thinking, we got to show them what we're talking about rather than just tell it. So I think that was my favorite part.
Really overall, just being able to have something like a project you're proud of, and something that is feasible that you could implement later on in life. And it was just kind of an accomplishment to do it and then get placed, in fifth. So that was really good. I like that.
It was definitely a lot of fun to like work with Keegan and Jeff, because we do like work in robotics and engineering team together, but it was kind of fun to have like a personalized project that was just kind of the three of us and bounce ideas off of each other, and our just group dynamic I think was pretty fun.
I kind of liked seeing both of our ideas come together because I didn't really know what he was working on the whole time. We kind of just did our separate things and asked for like feedback from each other, but it was interesting to see what it looked like all put together and get feedback from each other once we had our ideas down.
Yeah, that's true. I'd say when we like collided all of our sketches and stuff, it was pretty cool to just see how it all worked together.
I really enjoyed like the work you had to do, I guess. It was like just fun to answer questions, whatever, get the feedback. It was like especially interesting to have like outsiders' view on your opinions or on your outlook on the idea, because before you just could ask teachers or something, but getting feedback from others is very, very cool.
The coolest part for me was just along with creating like a technology solution, it kind of let me take some of the things that like my ideals and what I believe in and kind of put a little bit of myself into our solution, because like I'm big on like keep mental health and like keeping us like balanced and keeping us like in a good mental headspace, and it let me kind of add those little aspects into our idea, which made it better, and I liked doing that.
Well, winning money definitely was a fun part, but also I think just working together with with people that I didn't really know at first.
Because I like to compete, and there was a lot of people, and I was just like, once we were like winning, and I was like, that's crazy that there's 88 people and we're in like the running, like top 10.
Probably try and figure out the tech solution because I'm really good with technology.
I definitely want to go to college. I want to be somewhere in the psychology field, or like be a therapist or something like that. And then I'd ride that out. And I like public speaking. And I wanted to be a teacher in the past. So like after I've been a therapist, I'd like to teach at a university, be like a psych teacher there. I think that'd be fun.
I know I want to go to college, but I don't know what I want to like major in yet. I really like art, but I don't know how much there is to do with that.
I think I want to do something, I don't know. I think I want to do something that works with like communication and technology together. I'm still searching for a job that's able to do that and like a career path that fits those two together. And when I find that career path, that's probably what I'll take. I'll do that.
I'd say that I probably want to go to college for at least 4 years and try to get some degree in engineering.
I plan on doing something most likely related to engineering. I'm not completely sure what. I'm probably with like machinery, like some sort of vehicles or something like that.
I'm planning to go to college. I just don't know like what major I'll be. In college, probably most likely in like a STEM career, but I'm not completely sure what that looks like right now.
I definitely want to go to college. As for majors, I'm looking at biomedical engineering, computer science, or neuroscience. But I also want to minor in something business related or African studies. And just in general, I definitely think it's important to create new paths and new opportunities for minorities and diverse individuals, either racial minorities or a community like the neurodiverse community as well. And I think that's really important, especially in fields like healthcare or just business in general. So that's mainly what I plan to do in the future.
I also plan to go to college. I am currently writing my college applications, which is very fun. But yeah, I am interested in majoring in psychology on the pre-med track, and long term I have to get a medical degree and become a pediatric surgeon. And yeah, I just kind of want like an interdisciplinary sort of fun exploration styled undergraduate education. So that's sort of where I'm leaning towards.
I'm actually aiming to go to college abroad. I just want to see like just what's outside the States and explore and just kind of, since I'm trilingual, like I can speak 3 languages, I just really wanted to put that in use. And yeah, probably major in business and work in some international company. I don't know.
After I graduate, I plan on going to UNL to study actuarial science for 4 years, and then try and get a job at Mutual of Omaha, the same place my parents work, since I really enjoy math and the stuff that they do. So I figured it'd be a good path for me to go down.
I was offered a full ride to Lincoln, and that's my first choice. So if I don't get any, which I don't know, I might, but if I don't get any other like good offers that are on par with that one, that's gonna be where I go. It's just easier because it's here already. But I think I want to go into engineering. I'm really leaning towards civil engineering specifically. But I just really enjoy like solving complex problems, and that's like the whole idea of engineering is how can we make this bridge work right here? How can we make this building stand during an earthquake? And so I think like I just have a deep passion for that. So that's what I want to do.
Well, I want to go to university and get a master's degree in architectural engineering, then focus on that as my career.
I plan on going to college and getting a degree in either construction management or a mechanical engineering degree, and then I'll have a job based around that.
I plan on going to college and just going into the biomedical engineering field, which is like helping design like medical equipment or like prosthetics and that kind of stuff.
I think we're both planning on going to college. We're still figuring out kind of where and what right now. I'm thinking somewhere around business or something like that, but I don't necessarily know where I want to go.
I'm thinking teaching or law or a combination of the two.
I think I want to do psychiatry, and just like Meg, I really love mental health. I love how the brain works. So that is my plan as of now. It might change, but yeah, right now, psychiatry.
I'm thinking more of like a West Coast school because I want to get a different experience away from the Midwest, just for a little bit and see what I really want to do there. I'm not positive of what I want to major in, but I feel like I'll figure it out in the next couple of years.
I don't know if I'm going to college yet, but for a future, I do like play basketball, so I might try to pursue something in basketball.
I definitely plan on going to college. I think I mean, as of right now, I either want to do something in real estate or business, but I want to play basketball too. So that's also like something I want to do.
Criminal justice in Culinary Arts.